From New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Deepika, and coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi welcomes Germany's focus on India's strategy and progress made between the two nations. Germany increases visa quota for Indian skilled workers. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken meets with Lebanese Prime Minister Najib Mikati in London, says moment of urgency in reaching diplomatic resolution in Lebanon. King Charles officially opens Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Samoa, acknowledges Commonwealth's painful history with slavery. India and Germany on Friday exchanged several agreements and joint declarations of intent. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Germany's Olaf Scholz witnessed the exchange of agreements between the two countries. MOU on the roadmap of innovation and technology and a joint declaration intent in the field of employment and labour were also exchanged at New Delhi's Hyderabad House. Several agreements exchanged included the Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty in Criminal Matters, an agreement on the exchange and mutual protection of classified information, Indo-German Green Hydrogen Roadmap, Roadmap on Innovation and Technology, a joint declaration of intent in the field of employment and labour, a joint declaration of intent for joint cooperation in research and development on advanced materials, a memorandum of understanding on cooperation in the field of skill development and vocational education and training, along with a joint declaration of intent on the Indo-German Green Urban Mobility Partnership for All. And after the exchange of agreements between the ministers of India and Germany, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the media. Prime Minister highlighted that there is a need to resolve the ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia.
साथियों, यूक्रेन और पश्चिम एशिया में चल रहे संघर्ष हम दोनों के लिए चिंता के विषय है। भारत का हमेशा मत रहा है कि युद्ध से समस्याओं का समाधान नहीं हो सकता और शांति की बहाली के लिए भारत हर संभव योगदान देने के लिए तैयार है। इंडो पैसिफिक क्षेत्र में अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कानूनों के तहत फ्रीडम ऑफ नेविगेशन और रूल ऑफ लॉ सुनिश्चित करने पर हम दोनों एकमत हैं। हम इस बात पर भी सहमत हैं कि 20वीं सदी में बनाए गए ग्लोबल फोरम 21वीं सदी की चुनौतियों से निपटने में सक्षम नहीं है। यूएन सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल सहित अन्य मल्टीलेटरल इंस्टीट्यूशंस में रिफॉर्म्स की आवश्यकता है।
Addressing the media at the India-Germany joint press conference, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that both the nations are working together to eliminate terrorism.
रक्षा और सुरक्षा क्षेत्रों में बढ़ता सहयोग हमारे गहरे आपसी विश्वास का प्रतीक है। क्लासिफाइड इंफॉर्मेशन के एक्सचेंज पर बनी सहमति इस दिशा में एक नया कदम है। आज संपन्न की गई म्यूचुअल लीगल असिस्टेंस ट्रीटी से आतंकवाद और अलगाववादी तत्वों से निपटने में हमारे साझा प्रयास सशक्त होंगे। ग्रीन एंड सस्टेनेबल ग्रोथ के साझा कमिटमेंट पर दोनों देश निरंतर कार्यरत हैं।
Earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz met at Hyderabad House in India's capital, New Delhi. The leaders co-chaired the 7th Intergovernmental consultations. Both the leaders comprehensively reviewed the progress made in India-Germany strategic partnership in the areas of defence, security, technology and innovation, energy, green and sustainable development. to expand and elevate India and Germany relations. New initiatives in areas of artificial intelligence, semiconductors and clean energy were taken.
2 सालों में हमारी स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप के विभिन्न क्षेत्रों में उत्साहजनक प्रगति हुई है। रक्षा, टेक्नोलॉजी, एनर्जी, ग्रीन एंड सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट जैसे क्षेत्रों में बढ़ता सहयोग आपसी विश्वास का प्रतीक बना है।
Both the leaders also addressed the 18th Asia-Pacific Conference of German Business in New Delhi on Friday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that Asia-Pacific Conference has played an important role in strengthening relations between the European Union and the Asia-Pacific region. Prime Minister Narendra Modi highlighted India's strong pillars of democracy, demography, demand and data, making it an attractive investment destination for German businesses. The event saw participation of nearly 650 top CEOs and business leaders.
दुनिया को स्टेबिलिटी और सस्टेनेबिलिटी की जरूरत है, ट्रस्ट और ट्रांसपेरेंसी की जरूरत है, चाहे सोसाइटी हो या फिर सप्लाई चेन, हर मोर्चे पर इन वैल्यूज को बल देने की जरूरत है। इनके बिना कोई भी देश, कोई भी रीजन अपने बेहतर फ्यूचर की कल्पना नहीं कर सकता। इंडो पैसिफिक रीजन तो दुनिया के फ्यूचर के लिए बहुत जरूरी है। ग्लोबल ग्रोथ हो, पॉपुलेशन हो, स्किल्स हो, इस रीजन का कंट्रीब्यूशन और पोटेंशियल दोनों बहुत व्यापक है।
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz also emphasized on having more cooperation with India and the need for a free trade agreement between India and the European Union. Scholz said his country is working with full force to make a new policy to allow the skilled workforce of India to work in Germany.
Our intergovernmental consultations with India, we also want to deepen our cooperation on defense and agree to bring our militaries closer together. Our overall message is clear: we need more cooperation, not less.
Ministry of External Affairs has briefed about German Chancellor Olaf Scholz's visit to India. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri said that both the leaders in their bilateral meeting have discussed on various global and regional issues, including Russia, Ukraine, as well as West Asia. The high point was intergovernmental consultations.
The visit comes at a time when there has been keen desire expressed in Germany across party lines to further strengthen relations with India. For the first time, the German government has released 2 India-specific policy documents. One is a focus on India, which is only the second such country report that Germany has released about any country. And the second is the labor strategy, skilled labor strategy, which is the first such report that Germany has released about any country.
The Foreign Secretary further added that Scholz's visit has come at a time when there is unanimous agreement within German polity to further strengthen relations with India.
Bilateral front, the 2 leaders expressed satisfaction at the considerable progress that has been made in diverse sectors of trade and investment, green and sustainable development, economic and development cooperation, science and technological collaboration, education, culture, people-to-people relations, and the areas that are now emerging at the forefront of their cooperation, which includes critical and emerging technologies, defense and security, and, as I said earlier, skilling and mobility.
The Foreign Secretary spoke about the bilateral trade between India and Germany, which stood at $33 billion in 2023. Both the sides pointed out that there has been substantial progress made, but there is still significant potential in India-Germany relations.
Relations between India and Germany have been on a constant upswing in recent years. Our bilateral trade stood at $33 billion in 2023. And cumulative German investments in India amount to nearly $15 billion. As both sides pointed out on repeated occasions during this morning's discussions in multiple formats, there has been substantial progress made, but there is still significant potential in the relationship that remains to be exploited.
The Foreign Secretary said that counter-terrorism cooperation featured an important element during the discussion between the two leaders.
In the political and security domain, counter-terrorism cooperation featured as an important element in the discussions between the two leaders. And in order to promote closer cooperation, in order to investigate and prosecute criminals, including for the crimes of terrorism, there was a very important agreement that was concluded during this visit, which is the Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty in Criminal Matters, and the agreement on the exchange and mutual protection of classified information.
Meanwhile, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Friday met his German counterpart Annalena Baerbock after IGC meeting. Both the leaders held wide-ranging discussions on a number of regional and global issues. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Friday met with Lebanese Prime Minister Najib Mikati in London for talks on the war between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. Blinken vowed to work with real urgency for a diplomatic resolution to end Israel's offensive in Lebanon, but said it was first critical to reach understandings on disarmament of Hezbollah. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken also held a bilateral meeting with Jordanian Foreign Minister in London. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said there was a real sense of urgency to reach a diplomatic resolution in Lebanon following Israel's military operations in the country, while calling for the protection of civilians.
The most important thing is to drive toward the diplomatic resolution to get the understandings that are necessary for the full implementation of 1701. And the sooner we're able to do that, the sooner we're able to get a resolution. Meanwhile, we want to make sure, we want to see civilians protected. We want to make sure that the Lebanese armed forces are not caught in the crossfire. And certainly, we want to make sure that in places like Beirut, there is a real effort to make sure that people are not harmed, that civilians are not caught up in this crossfire.
Time to take a short break, but still to come on DD India Live. Turkish airstrikes hit PKK targets in Iraq again after Ankara attack. 6 people stand trial in Vietnam over karaoke bar fire 2 years ago.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
जिंदगी की हर छोटी बड़ी जरूरत के लिए आप जो सपने सजाते हैं, बस उसी उम्मीद को तो हम सहारा लगाते हैं। SIP आपकी सेविंग्स को आपकी खातिर काम पर लगाएगी। आज ही अपनी पहली SIP की शुरुआत करें। अधिक जानकारी के लिए अपने वित्तीय सलाहकार से परामर्श करें। LIC म्यूचुअल फंड द्वारा निवेशक शिक्षा की एक पहल।
म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार के जोखिम के अधीन है। योजना से संबंधित सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India Live with me, Deepika. Now, Russian President Vladimir Putin spoke about the military assistance from North Korea, saying it will be decided by both the countries when the time comes. The Russian president also referred to the Mutual Defense Pact signed between the two countries during his visit to Pyongyang in June and the Article 4 of the pact. It refers to a military mutual help in case of aggression towards each of the side.
But Article 4 is indeed in place. How we apply it is still a question. When we have to decide something, we will undoubtedly decide. But it is our sovereign decision whether we apply something or not, where and how, whether we need it, or maybe we only conduct some kind of drills, training experience. It is our business.
6 people stand trial in Vietnam over a huge fire that tore through a karaoke bar 2 years ago, killing 32 people. The blaze broke out in a province close to business hub Ho Chi Minh City and led to the closure of thousands of the bars nationwide for failing to meet fire regulations. The Turkish government has launched airstrikes on PKK targets in Iraq and Syria following a deadly attack on a defense firm in Ankara that the PKK has claimed responsibility for. Turkish President Erdogan vowed to intensify military actions against the group, citing ongoing tensions despite recent peace negotiations. Here's more.
The Turkish government responded by conducting airstrikes on Kurdish PKK targets in Iraq and Syria after a gun attack killed 5 people in Ankara. They have blamed PKK behind the attack on Turkish aerospace industries near Ankara. Meanwhile, Kurdish PKK militants on Friday claimed responsibility for the deadly attack on a Turkish defense firm, stating that the assault involved a shooting and suicide bombing by 2 militants who infiltrated from Syria. Turkish President Erdogan vowed to intensify military actions against the PKK, linking the attack to ongoing tensions amid recent efforts at peace negotiations.
I would like to thank all our friends for their solidarity after expressing their condolences for their treacherous terrorist act committed yesterday in Ankara. This heinous attack has further reinforced Turkey's determination and to resolve to eliminate terrorism.
The PKK has been in conflict with the Turkish state since 1984 and is labeled as a terrorist organization by Turkey and its Western allies. In 2011, President Erdogan supported peace efforts to address the Kurdish issue, but a truce collapsed in 2015, leading to renewed violence. On Tuesday, MHP's leader sparked shockwaves by offering an olive branch to jailed PKK leader Abdullah Öcalan, suggesting he come to parliament to renounce terror and dissolve his movement. With bureau inputs, Rabindra Chauhan's report for DD India.
Now, Commonwealth heads of government meet begins in Samoa. Ocean Declaration expected to be signed to fix maritime boundaries to help small island nations. Here's more.
Britain's King Charles on Friday said the Commonwealth should acknowledge its painful history as African and Caribbean nations continue to advocate for reparations for the country's role in the transatlantic slave trade. King Charles III called for community and respect as he addressed the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Apia, the capital of Samoa.
I understand from listening to people across the Commonwealth how the most painful aspects of our past continue to resonate. It is vital, therefore, that we understand our history to guide us to make the right choices in the future. Where inequalities exist, for example, in access to opportunity, to education, to skills training, to employment, to health, and to a planet in whose climate our human race can both survive and thrive, we must find the right ways and the right language to address them.
King Charles met with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer in Samoa. Starmer said that the transatlantic slave trade was abhorrent and that while history cannot be changed, it should be talked about. Keir Starmer also met with Guyana's President Irfan Ali on Friday. Starmer also met with Australian Prime Minister Antony Albanese. Australia and Britain plan to work together to ramp up the deployment of renewable energy technologies. Representatives of 56 countries, most with roots in Britain's empire, are attending the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. Commonwealth Secretary-General Patricia Scotland said on Thursday that the Ocean Declaration was a groundbreaking agreement aimed to fix maritime boundaries even if small island nations eventually become unlivable.
The most important thing is that the Commonwealth already has the Commonwealth Blue Charter, which has really been a distillation of all our hopes of implementation of the agreements we've already made on the ocean.
Earlier, King Charles III visited the Valima Botanical Gardens during his trip to Apia, the capital of Samoa. The British monarch is on a 12-day tour of Australia and Samoa, both independent Commonwealth states, the first major foreign trip since his cancer diagnosis earlier this year. Bureau Report, DD India.
Meanwhile, India's Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju is representing India at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Apia, Samoa. The minister posted photos of his meeting with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer on the sidelines of the CHOGM summit. Minister Rijiju also met King Charles III during the official dinner hosted by the British monarch on this occasion. Moving on to sports, New Zealand looks on top in Pune as the Test captain Tom Latham helped visitors lead go beyond 300 on day 2 of second Test. For India, Washington Sundar continues his good form with the ball as he has picked up 4 wickets, while Ravichandran Ashwin has taken 1 in the second innings. Captain Latham also scored 86 runs that put New Zealand in a firm position. Now, India have a daunting task ahead of them as they will be up against a record chase and they will be batting 4th on this wicket. India have not lost a Test series after 2012 at home and have never ever lost a Test series at home to New Zealand. Washington Sundar fought a lone battle for India as New Zealand extended lead to 301 at stumps on day 2 of the ongoing Test series. Indian cricketer Yashasvi Jaiswal has joined England batter Joe Root in the list of batters to have scored 1,000 runs in Test cricket in 2024, becoming the only second batter to do so. The left-handed batter achieved the feat on day 2 of India's second Test against New Zealand in Pune. In 10 Tests until now in 2024, Jaiswal has scored 1,007 runs at an average of 59.23 with a top score of 214 earlier this year against the 3 Lions in Rajkot. Jaiswal is expected to play a key role in India's upcoming Border Gavaskar Trophy this year in Australia. And before we let you go, here are some amazing visuals where London's tube map is being celebrated in a new exhibit that traces the evolution of its much-loved design from Friday. Mapping the Tube 1863 to 2023 exhibition at the Map House in central London will display and sell rare tube maps and posters, including a manuscript of Harry Peck's 1933 version that has a price tag of £75,000. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download it right now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Deepika, and from all of us here in New Delhi, thank you so much for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.